It's time for the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU, the official local sports show here in Glasgow and Barron County. And now, alongside John Butler, here is your host, James Brown.
Welcome back to the Brown Sports Bag this week. James Brown, John Butler, presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. Thank you to Steve Goodson for supporting us for all these years here, John. We've very pleased with that.
Yes, it's been great to us, McDonald's.
Yeah. And so, but last week was the first week of the high school basketball season.
Good week for the local teams.
It was indeed, wasn't it?
It really was.
We have, four of our six local teams are still undefeated. They all played pretty well last week, even the ones that lost, with the exception of maybe one game. But, all of our local teams, and we're going to start off talking about the boys because I'll be honest with you, I saw Barron County's scrimmage against LaRue County, and I just wasn't sure how it was going to work for them, especially offensively. I just thought they were going to struggle offensively because they didn't seem to have a good rhythm in that game. And I know it's a scrimmage and you're testing out different things and all that. But generally speaking, even your better players are going to look better in a scrimmage. And Barron, I thought, just kind of struggled in that scrimmage. They came out against Greene County and put up 82 points. They were absolutely impressive in that game, in that season opener, John, and erased any doubts that I had. I mean, I think Warren Cunningham might be the best boys basketball coach in the 4th region. He's right there in the top 2. And every year in and year out, he always impresses me with how he's able to get his teams ready to get going, John.
Yeah, and I think what makes a good coach, too, is you adapt to your personnel.
Yeah.
They don't play the same each year because the personnel is different. This year, Barron has great size.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right, against Greene County, I was really, really impressed, not with just the inside play, but I thought Cade Hardy was really good. He had 23 points. He's doing much more ball handling this year than he has in the past. And in the last few years, he handled the ball some, but he's more of an off-guard, shooting guard and so forth. But he had 23. I thought Cam Pippin, who sat out last year, played really well too. I mean, he's 6'4", athletic too. He had 16 off the bench. It's the first time I've seen Jackson Bird play forever because he's hurt last year.
Right.
I mean, he had 10 points, and I just thought overall against a pretty good Greene County team, an athletic Greene County team, they did a good job in coming up with that 82-64 win.
Yeah, I was impressed, and like you said, the balance they took advantage of their size. But also the guards played well, especially Cade Hardy. And then they turned around and did that against Elizabethtown again on Friday night. And in that game, Gavin Nunn led them in scoring.
Yeah, he had 19 and 9. Now E-Town's small, but they're very, very quick. But size-wise, Barron had a monster advantage. But in order for your post players to really go to work against a smaller team, your guards had to get the ball in up the floor and so forth. Right. And, again, I thought Cade was really good. He had 13 points. He and Wes Shelton did most of the ball handling because Griggs was I think he was injured in the JV game. Okay. So those two had to do a lot of the work against the full court pressure, but I thought it was a good performance, 66-47 on the road against E-Town, good win. Pippin again had 13 off the bench. Yeah. I thought Fryer, Katavian, first time I have had a long look at him playing. Right. And he came in and he did a really good job. He had 6 points and 7 or 8 rebounds and so forth. He's a really good you can tell he's an unselfish kid and so forth. And I really, after watching him this first week, I think there were some doubts after losing several players from last year, especially the 2 starting guards who've been there forever, Bray and Tate. Yeah. And this is a good team. I mean, they've got, the guards are Shelton is as athletic as can be. He just needs experience, sophomore. Cade to me, has really improved his game, and their size inside is different from most teams. Right. And I thought it was a very, very good start for Barron.
I think the interesting thing, I told people this in the preseason when I would talk about Cade. I told people that I thought he might be one of the best players in the 4th region. And when I say might be, I mean he might be number 2, number 3 best player in the 4th region. That's including a bunch of good guards at Clinton County, good players at Warren Central. You've got them all over. But I just thought when I saw him play this summer, he had matured. His game had matured. He had to handle the ball, but he's been a really smart player the whole time. It was just, can he mix that intelligence he has for the game with his skill level? And I thought he looked like that this summer. I thought he was a guard who could control a game.
Well, he had a great first week.
Yeah.
And he will be challenged all year.
Yes.
There's no question he can shoot. He's
right.
a very good shooter. The ball making and the play making is something he's going to be asked to do much more of this year. And so far, the first week, great start for him.
Yeah. And then the Glasgow Scotties, they opened with a loss at Somerset in a game where they basically they didn't play very well for a quarter and a little more, and they just looked like they were out of sync. Now, of course, the football players have been there a couple of weeks, but you could tell they just weren't physically in basketball shape yet. And then in the first half, so they ended up losing that game 59-50 on the road. And then in the first half of their game against Greenwood at home, which Greenwood is expected to be one of the better teams in the 4th region, I think, it kind of looked the same way. And they went in at halftime, and Coach Brandon Stockton talked about this in his post-game interview, and he basically told them, especially a couple of them like Jarek Martin, you want people to think you are one of the better players. You've got to go out there and show them. And they came back out in the second half of that game against Greenwood. The defense was outstanding. They started finding the people who could make some shots, and Jarek Martin really it wasn't offensive. He blocked shots. He got rebounds. He defended.
He played hard.
He did. And that was the key difference, I thought.
Well, they came back from double digits down in the second half. I think at one time they were down 14 or 15.
Yeah.
And came back and got a 65-62 win against a really solid Greenwood team. And I do think a lot of it was sustained effort. Mm-hmm. Jarek, he had 17 points. He could have easily had 25. I think he missed 8 free throws.
Yeah.
And it was not just being aggressive offensively, but he was aggressive on both ends of the floor.
Yeah.
Which is what he needs to do.
Yeah.
Landon Minton had a good game. He had 13 points, 9 rebounds.
Yep.
So right there is, 2 of your bigger kids and so forth. And Jalen Bradley I thought was good down the stretch. He had 13 points, but he made some key – Glasgow missed a lot of free throws, but they made them down the stretch. Last minute and a half, I think Jalen hit the 2 at the end to kind of to seal the game. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a really important win for Glasgow. I agree. I don't think they played very good against Somerset, losing on the road up there, and then being down double digits again. Coming off last year when they only won 5 or 6 games, that here we go again feeling.
It did have that feeling.
And they flipped it in the second half. And we'll see how far this carries over, but I thought it was a really good sign for them.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of interesting because they don't play again until they play Bowling Green on Friday.
Yeah, that's something that, boy, if I was coaching, I wish we'd played, Tuesday or Monday or whatever, got right back at it or whatever. I think it was designed because you don't know football-wise
right.
how many kids you're going, and maybe designed to, get some more practice time and so forth in it. And you just don't know before the year. So
right.
I'm sure that was the thinking. But I know Brandon will appreciate the practice. But I really think they probably would like to kind of get out there while you're hot. Let's play.
Well, and it'll be curious because it'll be one of those things where he can kind of literally look at the tape of the last game they played for the practice this week and say, the first half is not what we want to do. The second half is what we want to do, and we're going to practice like we want to do the second half all year long. And maybe it does give them an opportunity to – because you could tell the football players were still kind of rusty on their shots and that kind of stuff. Talking about the missed free throws and probably some missed shots around the rim during the first 2 games of the season.
Well, the problem was it was reminiscent of last year.
Yeah.
It's not just rust. It kind of looked like last year. And they need to get away from last year.
That's right.
And I thought their effort – now maybe part of their effort was supported by they were starting to play better too, and sometimes that energizes you.
Yeah.
But I thought their effort was outstanding.
Yeah. Well, so and then we mentioned and we'll talk more about Caverna here in just a second as well, because they their first game of the season got canceled because Fort Knox was out of school, so they didn't play their first game until Friday night, and then they played at Hart County, their rival and district rival. And the first half, I thought Hart County's better than I thought they'd be. I've got to say that first. And I thought they did a pretty good job against Caverna in the first half. But in the third quarter, I think you could kind of see what Caverna will be capable of doing in terms of, and we can talk about Jason Graves. He's a big kid inside that can do some things. But really, it was the twins, Tyson and Kenyon Martin, Jalen and Cordavian Maxey, the guys who've been there. They really kind of took control of the game, and their defense was the real difference. They played good defense from start to finish in that game and hardly gave up everything Hart County wanted to do. They had to work real hard for, and they just, I don't know. They in the end, they were dominating the boards. They were cleaning up offensive rebounds.
I think part of that is the coaching.
Yeah. I do believe that too.
I think that's the one area that I think it's going to show itself this year is defensively. I think they're going to be much better.
Yeah, and I think that's right.
And I never have understood it. When I coached over there for 2 years as well, I have never understood why Caverna and Hart play the first week. It didn't make a lot of sense to me.
No, and then they turn around and play Greene County this week.
Yeah, so to me that should have been pushed back a little bit.
Yeah, the 18th district, they always play what they call two sets, I guess, before Christmas and after Christmas. But not exactly?
Not exactly. Nobody else in the district played each other.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just Caverna and Hart.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they think they're trying to get a good gate right out of the gate. I have no idea.
They're going to get that gate whenever. Yeah.
Yeah. But that does lead us to tonight when Barron County hosts Caverna. You won't be able to hear that game. The girls' game starts at 6, so about 5:45 on 104.7 WCLU Burgundy with Jay Turner on the call. And then the boys will play. So you're going to two teams, Barron looking better than I thought they would right out of the gate, and Caverna, maybe they probably would have liked to have played a couple of games before they play this one. But I think that boys' game will be a pretty interesting game, John.
I think so too. But I do. Caverna's, preseason top 15 in the state, top 10 maybe, versus I think an improved Barron team that I think is fairly confident. Now Caverna is, I think, won last year or maybe the last couple
pretty
of years.
handily.
Yeah, so we'll see how it turns out, but I think it should be a good boys' game.
Yeah, I do think the size is beneficial for Barron in this game versus Caverna because
Caverna's going to get used to that. If they want to go as long as they need to go, they're going to have to deal with size.
Yeah,
but Caverna's not little. The Martins are.
Well, they're bigger than they look just because they're just physically big.
Plus, Caverna is. 6'2", 6'2", 6'5", maybe?
Yeah.
6, so they're not little at all.
No, but I do think it'll be an interesting game, and I think people should tune in and listen to it. On the girls' side, Barron County opened with a win against Greene County and then one at Elizabethtown. I think they got two interesting offensive performances because maybe the foul trouble at E-Town on Shelby Bird. She had 26 against Greene, and then Addie Slagle had 29 against Elizabethtown. I thought it was kind of an interesting situation for the Trojanettes on that opening week.
Yeah, against Greene they won 54-37, and Shelby had 26 of the 54.
Yeah,
she was really, really rolling and so forth. The E-Town game was really impressive. I think Greene is probably a little down. Well, I know they're a little down. E-Town will be one of the top 5 teams in that region. They got two of the best players. They got arguably one of the best players in that region. That region's loaded with good young players.
Yeah.
In this Malia Courtney, and who's being recruited by Western. She's I think she's a sophomore. Mm-hmm. So, and about 5'11". She had 27, and she can play. In fact, Western was there as well.
Oh, okay.
But outside of those two, they don't have a whole lot. But the other players really guard, so they put an enormous amount of full court pressure on Barron the whole time. And what impressed me the most about Barron, it was a good win to win 67-61 as they handled it. Barron's got the guards. One of the things that you fear as a coach is do you have enough ball handling against really, really good teams that can pressure and bother you? Barron has enough guards that can handle that. So that's going to always give them a chance.
Right.
Against anybody they play. They should have a pretty good chance because their guards are They got multiple guards. And Slagle that's the best I've ever seen her play. I mean, she was fantastic. Shelby picked up her fourth foul with 7 minutes left in the third quarter.
Okay.
So she probably didn't play half the game.
So a minute into the second half.
She picked up 2.
Yeah. 2
in the first minute.
Yeah.
And very questionable, I'll say that. But anyway, Slagle had 29. She had 3 out of 6 from threes. Sorry. She had 2 more and ones driving to the basket. 8 out of 8 from the free throw line. She was fantastic. To give you some of Barron's depth, Addison McFall came off the bench. I thought she was really good. She was 3 of 6 from 3, handled the ball as well.
Okay.
Hannah Bragg came off the bench. She had 6 points, 12 rebounds.
Yeah.
I mean, that team that I saw against E-Town is easily, in my opinion, the best team in the region.
Right.
I just hope they have enough games this year where they need that type of game.
Right.
I hope there's enough on their schedule where they can continue to improve and so forth, because that would really, really benefit them if they can. They still have Taylor, but I hope there's going to be enough challenges. Allen beating Metcalf was that was interesting. That's interesting. So maybe Allen is with Coach DeWitt is really taking it up another level.
Yeah.
Cumberland County, who put up 85 to beat Pulaski. So, and Bowling Green, who beat a good Bardstown team. So maybe there's more out there than maybe I thought in the preseason. But I know Barron is for real. Good game, good team, good balance.
I think that was the interesting thing coming into the season for Barron County was we knew that they had all of the pieces. The question was, would they all work? Because, sometimes you just have you might have good bigs and good guards, but they don't really play well together necessarily. And that was kind of the question was how was Piper going to be able to mix them all together, especially in difficult situations when the player that everybody thinks is your best player, Shelby Bird, is not playing because of foul trouble, and now you've got these other people, and you're like asking them to go out there and win the game. I think that's the part you're talking about that is most impressive was how the other players were able to step up in her absence.
Yeah, Slagle is, since the first time I watched her at Glasgow, has always been able to make shots and big shots and so forth. She plays with not a lot of fear. I mean, she plays fearless.
Yeah.
But that was still against that type of competition under that level of pressure and so forth that she faced. She had a big game.
Well, and then the Glasgow girls, they started with 2 wins. They won at Somerset, and then they beat Greenwood. Didn't necessarily play great offensively against Greenwood, but their defense was tenacious.
Hey, when you're coming off a 4-win season and you start off the next year with 2 wins, that's you. It reminds me of the conversation that we had in here with the Glasgow girls soccer team.
Yes, with Coach Scott Zettelmoyer.
That's correct, who went from 2 years ago no wins to 1 year ago
6 wins.
And then this year they won, 14, 15 games?
Yeah.
And they got off to an unbelievable start.
Right.
And what it does is it's confidence. Those shots that, Glasgow was so poor shooting last year. The last couple of years, 3-point shooting, free throw shooting, and now all of a sudden when the ball starts to go in, it covers up anything else that you do. It makes things better, and plus it gives you energy and confidence. So, the win against Somerset, Somerset traditionally is a pretty good girls team too.
Yeah.
58-47. Reese England, the 8th grader, had 17 points. She was 3 of 7 for 3. It really helps to have Jacali Green back.
Yes, it does.
She did not play last year. She had 13, and her quickness, her ability to make plays. It's not that she's another body. She's a good player, out there that really helps. And Kayla Kirkpatrick had 12.
Yeah. And
then the Greenwood game was. I don't know how good Greenwood is. I'll be honest with you. They're 0-3 already.
Yeah.
And one of those losses is Russellville.
Yeah.
But to beat a Bowling Green school for Glasgow, it's a good win, 45-36. And, again, Jacali Green 15 and Reese England 12.
Yeah.
And you can't – of all the teams that we've talked about, the Glasgow girls getting off to a 2-0 start was probably for them the most important thing they could have done. I think they would probably taken a split.
Right.
But to go 2-0, that's a really good start for them.
Well, and you go on the road and you win at Somerset, and like you said, they're usually pretty good. And Somerset did have a size advantage, but they were able to attack it with the way they play. And kind of play the way you want to and win that game, and then you come back and you play at Greenwood at home. You don't necessarily play the best offensively. You have probably too many turnovers. But your defense, again, forces turnovers, and you get easy transition baskets and play well enough to win that game. I mean, so they kind of won 2 games in 2 different ways, which is also, I think, an impressive situation.
Yeah, they'd probably been 0-2 last year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You mentioned the Allen County, Metcalfe County game. That was a pretty impressive win there by Allen County, I thought. Any other games that kind of stood out to you last week?
Well, that in girls, that was the one that got my attention.
Yeah.
Because I'm friends with Coach DeWitt, too.
Yeah.
But went 74-66
yeah.
against Metcalfe and girls. His first game back as coach against arguably the second-best team in the region in Metcalfe. Probably a statement win.
Yep.
That was really, really impressive. In boys, I can't think of anything. Warren Central played at Marshall County and got a win in a tournament, showcase, and then the next day went to Taylor County. It's about a 5-hour difference.
Right.
And then won over there as well. They're obviously very, very formidable. Still a lot going on in the 5th region with transfers not eligible yet, and maybe some more even around here. So
there's seemingly a lot of court cases coming up in the 5th region.
That's right. That's right.
It may be a different court everybody's playing in when it comes to basketball in the 5th region.
That's right.
All right, this is Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll be right back.
Welcome home to Local Sports with James Brown and the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU.
Well, John, I don't know if you saw this, but they have this thing this year that's called the college football playoffs. And, after last year when it was such a fiasco in terms of who was going to be in and out, they expanded it, and now we got 12 teams. I think they had done that last year. But nonetheless, they made some adjustments. And guess what, John? It's still a farce. Can you believe that? They did all these things to fix it, and it's still one of those situations where you're like, I don't know how they decided to do this, but whatever.
I love it. I just hope the whole system collapses. I mean, when things are based on, in college sports right now,
yeah,
like some other things, it's based on greed, money and greed.
Oh yeah,
that's and when you're
get everything you can.
When your system is based on that, it's going to be. You're going to get stuff like this. I mean, it's what it's all based on.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, you just go back. It's hard to decide who a conference champion is when you have 18 to 20 teams in a conference. They don't even play each other. Most of them.
No.
It's impossible. The ACC has like 18 teams. The Big Ten has seems like a bunch. So the SEC, 16 teams. You don't play each other either.
Yeah.
And so you got these mega conferences and then you have conference games. Why? Why do you have conference games? That's
the championship, you mean?
The championship.
Yeah.
That's part of the problem. You
right.
know,
I'm just upset Duke didn't get in here.
Well, Duke shouldn't have. Well, that's part of the ACC's problem. They shouldn't have been in the championship game.
No, they shouldn't have been.
Some crazy tiebreaker. I mean,
yeah.
You know who should have been in it?
Miami and Virginia.
Dame.
Oh, in the ACC championship?
Well, Notre Dame's in every other sport in the ACC.
That's true. They are, aren't they?
Right,
except for football.
So that gets me back to more greed, okay?
Right, yeah.
Conference championships. It's based on – they play them for money. Greed.
Yeah.
Well, if it has no significance, Alabama.
Go on.
Okay. Then
boy, they look bad in that game.
They did, but they're not penalized.
No.
They're really not. It is an extra game.
Right.
Okay, in that sense. But if you're going to take the money, if your team loses and they're already on the 9th line, 8 or 9 line, and they get beat bad, I think there should be some repercussions. Just me. I do. There were repercussions for Virginia. They got knocked out.
Yeah, yeah.
BYU got knocked out. And now if it's
BYU should have been in this, I got to say.
I agree. Neither should Duke or Virginia, all those teams. Yeah. But there should be something. But I don't feel sorry for any of them.
No.
I mean, Miami, come on, they lost 2, and one of them was real ugly to Louisville.
Yeah.
Another one was ugly. I mean, they haven't really played a hard schedule. Notre Dame, please.
Yeah.
I mean,
the two best teams they played, they lost to.
USC. They beat USC.
That's true.
Do I think Notre Dame is one of the top 10 teams? I do.
Yeah.
But, when you take the NBC money to stay on your own, and then you don't play in the conference, then you kind of get what you get a little bit. And then you throw in James Madison and Tulane. Come on.
Oh, come on, man. James Madison's going to run the table, John.
Listen, you know what they should do?
To the buffet.
You know what they should do with those? Like the NCAA tournament, they ought to be the play-in game.
Yes. There
Seriously,
you go.
They're
that
in the
good.
tournament. We're going to get you. But, unlike basketball, they just don't have the manpower to win out and all that. And it cuts out good teams. Like, in my opinion, if I was on the committee, Vanderbilt would be in.
Yes.
I'm dead serious. I think they're one of the top 12 teams in the country.
I agree with you. Here's what they robbed us of by not having Vanderbilt in? The most fun player to actually watch in all of college football is Pavia. And we get robbed of not seeing him in a game that counts in this postseason.
Right.
I guess Vanderbilt's going to play in a bowl game. They haven't opted out yet, I don't guess. But
I don't blame Notre Dame for opting out. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
If I'm one of the big boys, if I don't make the playoffs, I'm not playing because most of your players don't play anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
they've transferred.
Or they just why play? It's no.
They plan to transfer or whatever.
So or go pro or
right.
I mean, it's just not worth it. So I don't blame Notre Dame for that at all.
No.
But here's the deal: they've already changed it for next year.
Yes.
Notre Dame has got a 6-year agreement starting next year. It is almost funny. It only goes to them. That if they're in the top 12, they're automatically in.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody else has got that deal.
Which means they can play this paper-thin schedule and then win.
Top 12.
They can go 12-0 or whatever.
And also
and make
the ACC champion. If you're the actual ACC champion like Duke, you're in with 5 losses, which is crazy too.
Here's the deal, John.
All right,
here's 2 things that happened to me on Saturday. Thing 1 was the Ohio State game. And I was like, when that game started, I said, well, Ohio State's just going to beat them again. And
Indiana's tough.
Man, their defense is good.
They are good.
I knew their defense was good, but watching them play anybody else, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Playing Ohio State and your defense being that good
those
is
two
something.
teams are good. Now, here's the difference. So I will give you this, my SEC rant. Day in, day out, there are more better teams in the SEC than the Big Ten.
Which is why Alabama gets in, because they
have 3 losses. I agree.
They had the toughest schedule in the nation by when you look at these
Are they a top 12 team? Probably.
Yeah.
But ideally I'd had all 3 of those in there, but I also would have had Vanderbilt too.
Right.
But they put themselves in the conference. I keep saying, you put yourself in these positions when you want all the you want to play in that conference tournament and all that stuff. You kind of put yourself in that position where this can happen to you.
Right.
But they're in, and I don't have a big problem with them in. I don't have a big problem with Notre Dame out or if Miami was out, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They've set up this system where this is what you get out of it.
Yeah.
And someday they can maybe to get a little bit more fair. But even if they go 16, people are going to be fighting over 16, 17, and 18.
Oh, sure.
But I do think there is a way to make it a little bit better. Like I'm happy for JMU and I'm happy for those teams, but you can't tell me in only a 12-team tournament that those 2 should be in it.
No.
Basketball is 64.
Right.
So you can see why you have a lot of those schools in it. That's pretty cool. And and you can pull up some upsets and stuff like that. But in football, you're not going to see a lot of that. And if you're going to just have 12, but really you're only having 10 or 11.
Yeah.
That's where it kind of rubs. If you just want the best of the best, maybe they need to rethink that in certain ways. But
here was the other thing that happened to me on Saturday. I was watching the Duke Virginia game, and Duke wins the game, and I'm like, it hit me at that moment that I had forgotten that the ACC did not have a guarantee for their champion to be in this thing. And I was like, oh, my God, Duke's going to be playing in this championship. And then I went and looked, and I was like, okay, no, thank goodness they're not. But then I thought to myself, if Duke is the ACC champion, the ACC should have nobody in this, is what I thought to myself. Now, I don't know who you're going to put in there, but I was just like, nobody should be in there. And then I went and I looked, and I thought, well, actually, BYU, I think, should be in this, just based on these criteria that they put out there. Tulane, there's no way Tulane should be in it. I mean, Tulane's going to play Ole Miss. They got beat 45-10 by Ole Miss during the regular season. There's no way they should be in it. James Madison played in the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt was probably better than Conference USA, probably, but it wasn't that. it's still not a good conference comparatively speaking. And so I'm like, they shouldn't be in it. But I know they want to get at least one of these teams from one of these non-power conferences in this thing to give that feel of the basketball tournament. But as you just said, I mean, they're not the same. The sports aren't the same.
It's not the same.
I mean, even if James Madison pulled off an upset over Oregon in the first round,
which would be great.
It would be great, but it's not happening.
Probably not. Yeah. And another thing is, the Miami Notre Dame tiebreaker ended up being the win of Miami.
Yeah.
And normally I think that's good. But they played in August. It was
Yeah.
August 31st, and it was at Miami.
Right.
And it's like a 3-point
game. Was it 24-21, I think was the final score of the game?
I tell you what, that's a stretch. Now, is that the end of the year?
Yeah, that's a different story.
That's a different story.
Because you're looking at the teams as they are right then, injuries and all
with
that.
With Notre Dame starting a freshman quarterback, true freshman quarterback, I go, come on, that's a little stretch. So I know I'm all over the place on this one. To be honest with you, I'm more toward. I mean, I hate to say it because we have a lot of friends that are Alabama fans, but I don't know. They have not played well in the last month, and
no. They didn't look good at all.
And maybe they can get it turned around or whatever. But I think you can make a strong argument for any two of those three. All three should be in, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I went ahead and did my own little ranking here. And here's the thing that I looked at for Notre Dame. You're right. They beat USC. They lost their first two games of the season by a total, I think, 4 points or whatever it was to Miami and Texas A&M.
Freshman too.
Yeah. And so, I look at it and I'm like, maybe I think Notre Dame should be in just when you get right down to the brass tacks of it. But that's only because of a process of elimination of who's better. And I don't know who's better. And part of me doing that is who did they play and that kind of thing.
I think Notre Dame would be favored against everybody in it except for Indiana, Ohio State, and Georgia.
Yeah. I think that's when you get right down to it. Here's what I did come up to. I did come up to Indiana, Ohio State, and Georgia are clearly the top three teams.
Right.
They can probably go in any order. And I actually thought Oregon might be the fourth best team. Because when you look at Oregon's one loss during the course of the season, it's to Indiana, right, by 10?
Yeah, but I don't know who they played.
Well, they didn't – their schedule's not that great. Yep. I mean –
that's the thing about these conferences.
Yes.
They didn't play at Ohio State.
Yeah, I don't think their schedule's that great. I don't think Texas A&M's schedule is that great in the SEC. I don't think, I don't know about BYU, Miami, whatever. When it comes to them,
Texas Tech, the Big 12 was not very good this year.
Yeah, so that's it. So the Texas Tech is the team. They got them as the 4 seed here, and I'm like, there's no way Oregon is better than Texas Tech. I do believe. I just believe that. Just because I don't think the Big 12 is very good. So when I got down to it, I was like, all right, there's 3 teams in this thing, and the rest of them are could be anybody, pretty much. Those 3 teams we mentioned, Indiana, Ohio State, Georgia. Everybody else could be any other of a number of probably 14 teams, 15 teams, just depending on how deep you want to go.
Yeah, and I'd throw Vanderbilt definitely in.
Yeah, I mean, they're one of those teams that should be in that mix.
Yes.
So anyway, I think as much as anything – right now, I feel about this.
But it costs you $4 million not to get in.
Yeah, there's that.
I think each school gets. I think that's right.
Yeah, that's $4 million. But it's now if you're in a conference, it gets divided. See, if Notre Dame gets in, they don't have to share the $4 million.
No, they get the whole 4.
Yeah, so that's part of the reason they're so salty about this and said, never mind everything else. But I guess when I get right down to the college football playoff, I think to myself, the biggest entertainment value of this playoff is right now. And maybe the championship game, which is kind of the way it worked out last year. We had a bunch of pretty bad games in this playoff.
You're talking about the debate.
Yeah,
the debate, the discussion, the fodder. Yeah, okay, I agree with that.
This is the entertainment value of it.
Yeah, because I thought last year college football lost momentum.
I did too. Yeah, because we got 2 weeks until the first games are played.
That's right, and then there's like another gap, and the first week, several games won't be very competitive, in my opinion.
Yeah, right. That's the way it worked out last year. Yep. So I think that's part of the problem.
Well, the other thing they can do to help themselves is every game but the championship game should be on a home site. That would help too.
Yeah, you get that. You get that crowd momentum.
Yeah, because the pros don't do it.
No. Yeah, right now they're just trying to keep the bowl games alive as part of this process. Yeah. And we can see, I think there are 9 teams that have already opted out of playing in a bowl. We can already see that the bowls are in trouble.
Yeah, they're on life support.
Yeah, they are. Anything else about college football before we move on to our next segment?
No, I think it's good.
All right, this is the Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll be right back.
This is the Brown Sports Bag with James Brown on WCLU.
Welcome back to the Brown Sports Bag. James Brown, John Butler, presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. The college basketball season's going on. We're going to start with Louisville. We'll save Kentucky for a little bit because the Cardinals, they lost a game, but then they bounced back and won. They're 8-1. Overall, they're playing pretty well.
They are. They lost at Arkansas, which is not a shock.
No.
I mean, going to Arkansas and losing to Cal, on that midweek game, that did not surprise me at all. And I told a friend of mine before the week, if they could just split, I may have said it last week on the show, if Louisville could just split the week, it could be a good week. Mm-hmm. And they bounced back and they played really, really well against Indiana. Louisville can flat score.
Yeah.
And the other thing about Louisville too, and we'll contrast this with Kentucky here in a few minutes, so is not only does Louisville can they score, they play hard. Mm-hmm. Golly, even against Arkansas, they play hard. They're physical. They have great depth and so forth. And boy, you're going to get your money's worth when you go watch them play because they will get after you.
And they have a player who you can trust. Brown, I mean, you can trust him. He is going to score. He's going to be a threat the whole game. There's no point where if they need something, they can give him the ball.
Yeah, he can get a shot. That's right. But they got shooters galore, too. So it's a really good team.
Meanwhile, to contrast with Kentucky, I don't know. First of all, they don't play defense very well. I mean, I think I pointed that out when they played the game against Louisville, and it was like an up and down the floor. They seem to have no interest in playing defense.
What do they do well?
Well, after the Gonzaga game, the answer is nothing, but at least they could score before then.
Well, they've not shot the ball well at all.
No.
Very well at all against any team that could play.
No.
Well, they got major problems. I mean, I didn't get to see the game live. I was at the E-Town Barron game, but I taped it just because on the way home I was just listening to the post-game show, and all they talked about was the booing and all that other stuff. So when I got home, I watched it, and I was shocked to hear the amount of boos in the first half and second half. And that was down here at Nashville in front of those are your die-hard blue blood Kentucky fans because they normally can't get tickets at Rupp Arena.
Yeah.
My sister was one of them. She drove from Lexington with her husband. They went down there and stayed all night.
Was she one of the boo birds?
No, she wasn't one of the boo birds, but golly, I mean, they spent some money to come down and so forth. And, boy, the team they look lost. I think disorganized is fair. Terrible offensively in terms of shooting, point guard play. Don't play well together. I mean, all the things that you don't like in a team right now. It's surprising because there was such a good story last year with Pope coming in, and how the kids laid it on the line, and they got to the Sweet 16 and almost a fresh air. And this year, it's by all indications from all the reports, it's the highest paid roster in the country.
Money doesn't fix all ills.
24 million. That's an NIL money. That's not in that pool of money that that they're getting from the university.
Right.
So when you're talking about what 12 scholarship kids, 23 million.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some people making $2, $3, $4 million on that roster, and I'd never boo anybody, even at a pro game. I'm not a booer, but when you start making couple $1 million a year, you open yourself up to major criticism. Especially when the people don't think you're playing all that hard. And I don't know if they didn't play hard. I think they're when the ball didn't go in, it gets frustrating and things like that. But it's a team that is lost right now, and I don't know if they have any answers because I think they got major shooting problems and lack of point guard play, and I don't know if I don't know if they're going to get it solved.
I think the interesting thing is this team.
They don't look like they get along real well. I mean, get along. I don't know. I think you can not get along and still play well together. You
don't have to like each other off the court. You just got to be able to play together.
And I think part of it, too, when people say that, and I probably repeated something I don't even know if I believe in, part of it is just lack of point guard play.
Yeah.
You go, well, they're not even passing to him. He's wide open. Well, sometimes that's comes down to because you don't have a really good guard that can see that person.
Yeah.
That guy taking a shot, he may not be selfish. That's just how he plays.
Right. I was going to say this team is playing basketball sort of like that black hole of a season that Louisville had not too long ago, where it's not just that you watch them and it's when I'm saying this, I'm saying it's snowballing in that direction. Not that it's fully there.
No, they're a lot better than that team.
They are, but at the same time, you see them. You're talking about they look lost on offense. They look lost on defense against Gonzaga, but they kind of looked lost on defense the whole season. They've not looked lost on offense the whole season.
Well, Mark Pope is known as an offensive genius.
Yeah.
I mean, his teams always score, but they've always had shooters and so forth. And I don't know if he overreacted because this is a management problem.
Yeah.
They've got enough money. I mean, they got more money than anybody almost.
Right.
And they went out and got players to come in that don't fit.
Right.
I mean, that's what's shocking. I think he probably thought they needed a little bit more rebounding and toughness from last year, but he forgot. You still got to shoot, and you
got to handle the ball and shoot the ball.
You got to handle the ball and you got to shoot.
Right.
And I think he thought that the kid from Florida, who was not a starter for Florida,
no, but
I think they gave him big money like he was to come in, and he has not been an answer. So, they have not. Probably the best player that they so far this year has been the kid from Georgetown, Marino. He didn't play well against Gonzaga. He just physically, those guys were just too strong for him. But he's played pretty well. Yeah. But other than that, boy, it's been Oweh, the guy that played so good last year from Oklahoma, probably the highest paid player on the roster. Yeah. Has just not played very well at all.
Right. Meanwhile, the Hilltoppers are 6-2. They beat Evansville 80-79, and they beat Wichita State last week. They're kind of the opposite of Kentucky, I'd say. They're a gritty team. I don't know how good they are, but they are.
I think they're a lot better than they were last year.
They are. They win games with some determination as much as anything.
I really liked how they played down in the Bahamas. Yeah. They did not play that well against Evansville. They were up. They were down in the first half and came back and was up 15, 16 points in the second half and just kind of hung on against a very okay Evansville team. I don't think the coach is real happy with their play afterwards either, to be honest with you. Yeah. Maybe some of the stuff he saw last year, maybe a little selfish play at times and so forth. I don't think he was real crazy about some of the play, but this team is better. They've got a kid from Kentucky that I really, really like, Tegan Moore. Yeah. He set out last year with an injury. I really, really like him, the leading scorer. And he's got several on the roster from Kentucky too. But I like this team a lot better than last year. Yeah. Well, they look pretty good so far. Let's take a quick break, and we're going to come back and talk a little bit about the high school football championships. This is Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll be right back.
This is the Brown Sports Bag with James Brown on WCLU.
Welcome back to the Brown Sports Bag. James Brown, John Butler, presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We got about 6 minutes here before we have to get out of here, and we were going to talk about the football state championships that were played this past weekend, Friday, Saturday, in Lexington. At the University of Kentucky football field.
Kroger Field.
Is that what we call it these days? Kroger Field?
I think that's right.
And we were just discussing two things. One is out of the 6 state championship games, 4 of them were not really that close. And 2 of them were. And 4 of the games were won by private schools. And 2 of them were won by public schools. And I don't know. Have we just hit a point where the private schools are just more effective? They got better coaches now, John.
No.
Better facilities. Is that what it is? Is that why they just work harder, John? Isn't that what the coach at Owensboro Catholic said one year whenever they won the state championship?
I think so. I think it got better players.
Yeah, they usually that helps, doesn't it?
That definitely helps, and there may be some advantages. I'm not really for sure, but. But, we can start off the local Trinity. South Warren actually was, I said last week that 3 or 4 touchdowns, they'd be probably lucky. And it's 28-14. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think they were ever really close to winning, but they were very competitive.
Yeah.
So give them credit. Their only loss was to Trinity. That's, 4 straight for Trinity or 3 straight?
I think that's three straight,
three in a row
for
for Trinity, and they got their starting quarterback back for
Yeah.
next year too, Zane Johnson. So, yeah, they'll be another heavy favorite, Trinity.
Yeah.
It's a machine.
It is.
It's almost boring, to be honest with you.
We had a case where Kentucky Country Day and Raceland were both trying to win their first state championship, I think it was.
Yep.
And ironically for Raceland, it's the 4th year in a row they've been there trying to win it.
Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, they really are. And they lost again. KCD won that
Close.
game 20-16. It was a close game.
Yeah, KCD scored in the last 4 minutes.
Yeah. So that was probably the best game, I think.
Lexington Christian Owensboro Catholic was good, 33-28.
Yeah. Now, I think Lexington Christian led the whole game, but it was close the whole game. Is that the way that one worked out, I think?
Probably.
And
in 3A, the one with Glasgow was in the Murray, who beat Glasgow, got to the finals.
Yeah.
Got blown out by Cal. A little deceived. Now, Cal was really good.
Yes.
But the quarterback for Murray that was so effective against ran the ball some against Glasgow or whatever, he was injured in the fourth quarter in the game before, did not play in the state finals. So Murray had to play a freshman quarterback. So
their quarterback was really good. I don't know if anybody got to see him during the course of the season.
Boyle County bounced back after losing last year.
Yeah.
Won another state title over Pulaski over I can't remember who.
Franklin County.
Franklin County and Owensboro kind of blew out Pulaski.
Yeah. It wasn't exactly chalk. I mean, Owensboro is always good, but it had been a little while since they had won a state championship, I think. Boyle obviously is there every year. This is the 4th year in a row Cal's won it, I think. Won the 3A. Lexington Christian, this was their first state championship or second, but the first one in a long time. I don't remember exactly, but they've been knocking on the door in recent years. That's where Cutter Bowley played, for those people who don't know that. His last 2 years of high school. He started out at LaRue.
Not a lot of surprise teams up there.
No, and I don't know. As I was watching these games, I was thinking to myself, some people will go, well, we need more classes, and I actually think we need fewer. Because if you look at
they definitely, that's the best answer you've given here today. You're right. they could survive on 3.
Yeah.
3
I would give them
great.
4. They can have 4. That's fine if they wanted to have 4. But if you just look at the playoffs, a lot of the playoff games were not close during the course of the thing, and the state championships weren't close. There were some exceptions, but those are the ones that prove the rule. And so it's not about who's winning the state championship.
I would have a super small Class A, 400 and under, 350, and then I'd have, a pretty big, middle, and then maybe a super large or whatever. But that we need to get back to less classes is better in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think this isn't really working out. Plus, we've already discussed before ad nauseum on this show about the number of teams that start in the playoffs to begin with, because everybody gets in if you're in a 4-team district. And even they got some monkeying in the 6A where they have teams that finish 5th in a district playing as the 4th in some other district, which is positively ridiculous.
Right.
And so we just got too many people in the playoffs, and I think the playoffs are diluted because we also have too many classes, and a lot of the playoff games aren't really worth watching, to be honest with you.
I agree. No, I agree 100%.
And so I think they need to revisit that. I'm not sure the RPI has solved the issue at all.
I agree with that, too.
We've not gotten the 2 best teams in each class at the end in the championship game.
We could solve a lot of problems, couldn't we? They need to put us on some committees. High school and the college football playoffs.
Man, look, 5 minutes with nobody else in the room, we can fix them all. Exactly. Just don't let anybody else in who has money involved.
And one more point, too. Switching gears real quick. WKU versus your team.
Yes.
Southern Miss.
That's
playoff.
Right. Southern Miss with a whole new football coach because our guy left and went somewhere else. I think he's the one who went to Memphis, isn't he?
I think you're right.
Yeah. He 1 year there after he was at Marshall.
Because the Memphis guy went to Arkansas.
That's right. That's
okay,
right.
So we're just moving them up the ladder.
Yeah, that guy Huff came from Marshall to Southern Miss, brought half the Marshall football team with him. Now he's going to Memphis after 1 year. Who knows if any of those guys are going with him? And Southern Miss is going to have another new head football coach. But, hey, they will play each other in the New Orleans Bowl. I think we need to see if we can go down there and broadcast that game just for the Crawfish Etouffee.
That is all you.
Thank you, sir.
Western, Southern Miss, New Orleans.
That's
James Brown right
me
there.
and Kyle Neves, who is now at Colorado State. He worked at WKU and Southern Miss.
So you got to go.
Yep. All right, it's Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll be back next week.
You've been listening to the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU. Be sure to join James and John again next Monday at 4 for another edition of the Brown Sports Bag.